pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will call the April board meeting as of April 19th, 2021 at 7:08 p.m. We do have a quorum, and we have 7 board members present, and Chris Waller will be joining remotely.
Six.
Or 6. Oh, that's right. Adam is absent. I will entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
And then it's discussion. I'd like to add to the agenda the closed meeting minutes of March 23rd. That's item 3A.
Closed. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor of, hang on, let me add Chris to this real quick. Admit,
Oh,
okay.
here we go.
All right, all approval of the open minutes of March 15th, 2021 signify with an aye.
Aye.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. Ixnay that.
Yeah.
All in favor of the approval of the agenda signify with an aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
You were in the board meeting, Adam, so hang tight.
He said he didn't get the link to be here.
I didn't send it to you.
Okay. You want to sit on the phone or you want? Can you come up?
I can forward it to him.
Hold on. You can either come up. You want Dave to forward it to you, the Zoom?
I'll stay on the phone and I'll come up there.
Okay, see you in a minute.
My computer's an active janky.
Okay. All right, well, your stuff is at your seat, so come on up. We'll be waiting for you. You want to stay on the phone till you get here?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
All right, number 3, I will entertain a motion for the approval of the open minutes of March 15th, 2021.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Dave. Any discussion? All in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
All right.
All opposed? Motion passes. Section 3.5, the added approval of the closed minutes of March 15th, right?
23rd.
Or 23rd, 2021. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Any discussion? I will call for the vote. All in favor of the approval of the closed meeting minutes of March 23rd, 2021 signify with an aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. Treasurer's report.
Okay. This is as of March the 31st, closing balance sheet. Shows total assets of $1,317,776, including buildings, roads, equipment, all cash on hand. Total cash available for operating at that point is $384,965.22. Out of that, we anticipate road expenses of approximately $275,000, which we haven't started yet, but they're due to be starting any day now. The EPA portion of that is $160, which the reason they haven't started is we're waiting for their check. $160,000. That leaves $115,000 of that for Raintree.
We still have the insurance.
Yeah, we have insurance of around $30,000 that's due in April. On the check report, presentation of bills, was $69,155.74 in March. Included a couple of extraordinary items that we don't normally have. One of them was for the mower, $10,733, which was a budgeted item that we approved on our budget last year, and it was purchased on the 15th of March. And the other one is $20,148.48 for concrete work on our roads. That work has been completed, but the asphalting hasn't started yet. And that's also a budget item. And I think that's it.
All right, I will entertain a motion for the approval of the treasurer's report and presentation of bills.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
Al is the second machine tonight. Any discussion of the treasurer's report or presentation of bills? All in favor, signify with an aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Correspondence report.
The quick correspondence report. We had nothing in correspondence received or correspondence sent. However, in general correspondence, we received 3 homeowner inquiries. One is a great job and a big thank you to the maintenance crew for work on roads during the snow days. One is need to set yard sale date, which we have, and we'll be discussing that later. And the third is that the meeting room doesn't look professional and the chairs need to be replaced. And we're happy to discuss that later too.
All right. Standing committee reports, administration. So I am here to say that we have a resignation on the board. Michael Hinkle has informed us that he has resigned. I want to thank him for his service to the board, and due to it being more than halfway through the year, we will leave this position unfilled until the September election. A little bit of administration due to that resignation. Tammy Ponzer will become the chairperson of Lakes and Beaches, with Al Weidman as the co-chairperson. Tammy Ponzer will also become the co-chairperson of Communications along with Deb Anderson, the chairperson. Tammy will retain the golf cart committee and I will become her co-chairperson. That's not really a change. Tammy's done a great job at handling that, so it's really just me sliding in there to assume I'm doing something. Hats off to Tammy for her great accomplishments there. The communications team of Deb Anderson and Tammy Ponzer will be responsible for all board-related communications to all property owners. Along with that, the CRC Communications Committee has been dissolved and replaced by the Raintree events, focusing on events happening in Raintree with those communications notices sent by the communications team. If anyone wants to get involved with the committee, please reach out to the office. So that is the administration report. Are you gonna talk about all the upgrades going on?
This, it's on here.
Okay.
It's on here.
Well, those,
The other admin.
there's 2 admin reports.
Yes, there is.
That's why I was.
Okay, so let me go to the second admin section. The office has been working through COVID-19 challenges. I actually stopped up here Saturday for a brief minute and I was talking to Sue. All I can ask is that when people come up on Saturdays, because there usually is only one person, please be patient. It's a lot for one person to answer the phones, answer the door, answer the window, and listen to complaints and other ongoings that need to be done up here. So just be patient with anybody that's in the office on a Saturday. They've been working with ACC projects and rules violations, and I will say the process that is in place, Wendy, along with Dave, you guys are doing a great job of communicating everything that's going on. So it's very informative, and it's being done in a timely manner as well. There's some ongoing with boundary line adjustments, the prorated assessments is going on, assisting with golf cart preparation for inspections, which I do believe we have taken a lot of that responsibility, or at least the time portion of it, off of their hands with Tammy handling the inspections. I want to thank Barb for reaching out to Ameren to go to look into the energy efficiency program, and had all new LED lights installed in the POA office, which I can tell you was $0 cost to the POA. Ameren's got a rebate program along with all the labor and materials is being paid in full. So it's a great opportunity to take advantage of that. Anybody that has a small business, I would welcome you reaching out to them and checking into that, or get with Barb and she can give you the contact information. Hats off to Barb for taking care of that. With that, saving money on the lights, I don't know, what'd you say, a couple, $300-400 a month we expect to save maybe?
Well, they said about 50%.
Okay, so
We'll see, that's $500 or $600.
electric bill was $1,100 last
Yeah.
month, so, the money that we saved with that, we were able to do some remodeling in the boardroom, so Barb had the carpet cleaned, and we also bought new chairs for the property owners to sit in, and, the inside of the, boardroom was painted, and I will tell you, if I didn't know that Barb and her husband did it, I would have thought it was done professionally, because it just looks awesome in here. I mean, I think just a different color, and, it really looks nice. And she rearranged the pictures, which are all organized and on one wall, I believe. So, if and when you see Barb and her husband around town, reach out and give them a big thank you. And I appreciate everything you guys did, Barb. I think that's so. I mean, they did this. Oh, okay. I think. 2 days it took you to get it done, 2.5?
About 2.5 days.
So, very well done, and that's what it's all about, giving back to the community.
It definitely looks great.
Yeah, it does. I thought the carpet was new as well when I walked in here Saturday.
Just clean.
Well, it's brighter. These lights are a lot brighter than them other ones.
We don't miss the dirt.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all on the admin. The legal part of it, so in the case 15JECC00809, the country club lawsuit, the judgment was entered in favor of the settlement agreement. For $255 a year, you will get free golf, swimming pool, fitness room access, and discounts if when a restaurant is available. There is a motion filed by the objector's attorney, Sherry A. Schroeder, for a new trial and to amend the judgment. At this time, no motion has been ruled on. And we, as of tonight, we haven't heard anything either. In the other case, 20JECC0241, as of 1/11/2021, the court asked all parties for available dates through June 2021 to conduct contested in-person trials. So I don't know, is this being heard in Franklin County, or is it going to be heard here?
But this one's gonna,
Because this is the Franklin County judge, isn't it?
I don't know, I'll probably try to do it here,
Okay.
but
So as of right now, we don't know where it's going to be heard, but it is asking for in-person. I know Jefferson County is open because they are allowing dockets in person. They do have COVID testing and temperature gauges and masks and whatnot, so be prepared for that if and when that trial happens. That is all of admin and legal. Architectural control.
well, we're still conducting the meetings through the emails because of the COVID restrictions. We get a lot quicker results. We're doing an agenda every week now because there's always a project going on. details, and it's real quick and efficient. So there's still a lot of road cuts out there, and I know it gets noisy because there's a lot of construction. I hear people complaining, but as long as they're starting at the proper times, which I believe is 7 a.m. So they can't start earlier than 7 a.m. on Tuesday through,
Weekdays.
yeah, the weekdays, I'm sorry, not the weekends. So, but yeah, just be patient. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of construction going on, a lot of new homes. We got, currently we have 10 homes under construction and 20 miscellaneous projects that include seawalls and retaining walls and decks and all kinds of things. Got a lot of seawalls going up without houses on them yet. So there'll be houses coming next. Let's see. Also, that just be aware that all construction will be reviewed by the Architectural Control Committee. These include maintenance or restoration to decks, retaining walls, flat work, and other miscellaneous projects. We are in process of getting these ACC rules updated and on the new website when it comes online.
Thank you, Dave. I did want to add one thing to the administration portion, that I do believe we are going to try to, unless something changes, hold an open board meeting in May. So we will have probably the 6-foot distance requirement, so we'll have to move some chairs around, and it'll be a first come, first serve. So if we get too full, we'll have to turn people away. But for those of you that want to attend in person, after what has this been about 14 months of no board meetings, we are going to try to do a May board meeting in person. So if you know you want to come, you may want to just reach out to one of us or the office, and just so we got an idea of what's going on up here and we don't get overwhelmed with people standing at the door. So
We'll still be doing Zoom.
And Derek will still be doing the live feed, but if you want to show up in person, Nancy, you're more than welcome to come up here. Oh, I'm sorry.
What time will you be opening the doors to let people in?
I would say probably 6:30, don't you think? About a half an hour early, just so there'll be somebody up here.
Yeah, they usually don't come
The
rushing
first
in.
come, first served.
Yeah, it might even be a good idea to ask Ed to be up here, so if he could just kind of keep an eye on things and just throwing that out there.
Throwing that out there. That's a good one, though.
Okay, communications, Deb.
Yes, we have several things going on again. And so just to kind of recap, we had our monthly e-newsletter at the end of March, and we'll be continuing those. They might look a little different, but we'll continue the e-newsletter. I love the concept of it. And also, I've begun work on the spring newsletter that will be sent out through regular mail, snail mail, if you want to call it that, even more so in the last year or so. And committee chairs may remember that their reports are due now, today. So anyone of all of you who hasn't submitted anything to me yet, let's talk about it after the meeting. I'm happy to work with bullet points, and we can go from there. Just a subtle reminder.
Absolutely, thank you.
That was received.
Okay. Also, another thing that the communication committee accomplished, and I'm really happy with it, is that we have created a new owner orientation package that the office will be handing out. It is not completely finalized yet because we have a couple little things hanging on, like whether the country club settlement agreement is finally approved. So it's just about ready for us to start handing out, and I'm hoping that a copy of it will also be posted on the new website. I made a slot for it, so hopefully it will get there. I also wanted to thank the new committee, our new events committee. Our volunteers put a lot of work into yesterday's volunteer appreciation parade. And thank you to the Waller family for the thank you cards that they donated, and thank you to all the board members who came in and signed all those 100 cards, and Tammy for driving her golf cart around Raintree and delivering them. And I thought they were really nice. They were attractive and they were nice, and we got a lot of good feedback about them.
They were nice cards. They were real nice.
Yeah.
3D.
Yeah, they really look nice. And then our Volunteer Appreciation Parade, Jerry Jean and Kathy Porter and Mark Neshaday put work into signs for the parade and the little spice plants that were handed out to volunteers. And we went around both lakes. The wind was cold, my comment, that was cold. But it was nice to include both lakes. I felt good about it. And when we do it again, and I'm sure there will be more golf cart parades, hopefully more people will be out there to collect the candy we're throwing at them. I would even say that, you know, if any of the spectators want to throw candy back, my favorite is payday bars. But anyway.
Hard.
And one last thing I wanted to fit into my report, thank you, is that I wanted to just share again what the forms of media are that the POA uses to communicate. So we have the RaintreePOA.net website, which is currently in the form of being redone, but the old website is functional with all the old information, lots of announcements and links on there, so that's available. Then we have the email notices that we're sending out at least a couple of weeks. And we're going to start linking those to the new website. But anyway, also we have articles in the HOA Gazette every month. We put posts of all the emails that we distribute on the Raintree POA community Facebook page, which will link to the announcement on MailChimp. And that, if you see it on Facebook, that link will take you to the MailChimp sign up, so you can sign up and start getting those emails straight to your inbox. Then we use the blinking sign at the entrance. We use gate signs if needed. We have e-newsletters that have been going out monthly, and then the 2 a year, unless there's something special, printed newsletter that goes out to all property owners on record. So those are all ways that we communicate and ways that you can communicate back with us.
Thank you, Deb. Finance report, Barbara.
Okay. Thanks to everyone for the special assessments. As a result, we've been able to add and replace a lot of maintenance equipment, including a mower, a salt spreader, a dump bed, a maintenance truck, a plow, and we're still looking for a mini excavator, which we have about enough money left to buy that. So that's made a big difference with a lot of maintenance equipment that was old and not working and in disrepair. And I think it's made a difference in how they've been able to do their job. As far as this year when we had our snow event, they were out there and they did a great job because they have new equipment and things weren't breaking down. We've collected approximately $100,000 on that special assessment. It's earmarked for half maintenance and half for security. About 340 were sent to collections, or approximately $17,000 worth. Out of that, we have collected about $4,700 of that $17,000. So there's still about $13,000 to $14,000 still out there that is in collections now.
All right, thank you. All right, golf cart committee, Tammy.
Alrighty, thank you. To date, property owners have updated their property files with all current information, and 194 golf carts have received their 2021 sticker. Our estimation is there's just a little below 40 of them left in there from last year. Some people may have moved out of the neighborhood, taken their golf carts with them. Some people may no longer be golf cart owners. But in that same turn, we also have new golf carts that have come in that we don't know anything about yet. So I'm hesitant to know how many I still have out there, I guess. But we have been very successful in accommodating new golf cart purchases, part-time residents. I've met so many wonderful people that have lots, but they don't live here, and met with them about their golf carts and been able to get them stickers. So it's really been a nice opportunity to be able to meet with people and have one-on-one conversations with them and spend time with them. And everyone has just been very appreciative, and they all understand that I'm not inspecting the golf carts. I'm inspecting the insurance card against the golf cart that I actually see, making sure that they both match. Everyone understands that I'm not actually, under the engine looking at anything. I want people to do everything they can to avoid censures. May is coming quickly. I know that there have been issues with people parked at the beach that have not had this correct sticker. We've tried to reach out to people to get appointments made for them rather than them facing the censure. But you need to have some self-help skills and make the effort. You need to be paying ahead of time, dropping that check in the lockbox. You need to be emailing your insurance card to the office. You need to be in good standing. There are steps that I need the golf cart owners to take place to show me that they're trying to get their sticker before that May 1 deadline, because the early bird price goes away on April 30th. I am no longer at the office 30 hours a week, so appointments are necessary. There will be very few chances of just hit and miss of getting me in here like you did before. I do want to remind people, stickers are assigned to you, the golf cart owner, for that specific golf cart. These stickers are non-transferable. If you sell your golf cart, you need to remove that sticker, because whoever buys your golf cart, if they face a censure and they still have the sticker on that is registered to your property, you will then end up getting the letter for the censure. If you get a new golf cart, do not take the old sticker off and put it on your new golf cart. Just call me. We'll make arrangements to get a new sticker for your new cart. They are non-transferable among carts, just as they are non-transferable amongst property owners. The stickers, there's been some confusion. Where I put them is where they need to stay. They need to be in the driver's side, lower left-hand corner. If you don't have a windshield, I'll put it on the hood of the golf cart. They do not leave a residue. They will not damage the golf cart. They will not damage the window. A reminder about riders. Everyone needs to be seated in a golf cart. You should have a Missouri driver's license to drive a golf cart. That is Raintree's rules. You agree to that when you sign the golf cart agreement. I am not looking to get into a match with anyone about permits. If you have a permitted child, if you're in the passenger seat with them and they're practicing, that's wonderful. They cannot be operating your golf cart with a permit without you, the parent, in the cart with them. An older brother and sister is not the same legal coverage as having a parent with them, just as if they were practicing out on the streets in one of your vehicles. 14-year-olds, there are rumors going around, 14-year-olds are not permitted to drive golf carts. I've heard from several families that there are parents out there stating that 14-year-olds are allowed to drive golf carts. So I'm going on record as saying 14-year-olds, no. To be back, oh my goodness, we've had 3 golf carts that have been driven off the road already just this month. One went down into a ditch. It was bad. Please, when you're driving your golf cart, stay near the berm. When people are driving vehicles, they are coming in with trucks and trailers and boats. We can remind people all day long to drive slowly and to stay on their side of the road. The best thing you can do in a golf cart is to stay on the side of the road. Do not stay in the middle. Do not cross the line. Protect yourself. You are the smaller vehicle on the road. Let's see what else. Oh, I wanted to throw out there. Do we have any signs in the neighborhood that say this is a golf cart community? Golf carts on the road, you're sharing the road with golf carts?
Not that I know.
Maybe when guests are coming and they're coming down to the gate in the summer. Nobody wants more signs in the front yard, I understand that. But I'm just thinking of the people that bring their boats out for the day. Just as a reminder, they're on Easy Street when everybody's coming into the boat ramp. Just maybe consider that. Oh, and if you guys have any ideas on how I can get these last 35, 40 people to get a sticker, I know, just give me your ideas. I'm willing to do anything, just give me your ideas.
I would say you've done your due diligence, and at this point, if they don't come up here, it's on them.
Okay. Well, and speaking of your due diligence, I enjoyed it. It was a wonderful opportunity to be able to meet with so many property owners face to face and stand out there and be able to have private conversations about concerns and issues and history and just give people a face and a person to talk to. And I got a lot of information from residents, and I was able to then bring that to the board, bring that to different committees. And I enjoyed that, and I think the residents enjoyed having that one-on-one as well. With that said, I'm going to remind everyone that we operate on a complaint form basis. The people that you're looking at, as well as the members at home, we are volunteers first and foremost. We are your neighbors. We are Raintree residents ourselves. We are not out there cruising looking for violations. When you see me on my golf cart and I'm waving, it's just me out there waving. When I'm in my boat and I'm waving, it's just me out there waving. I'm not out there looking for anything. So please feel free to wave with all 5 fingers. So with that being said, the complaint forms, they are anonymous. You can put any details that you can of a situation that you want to bring to our attention. The golf cart sticker number, the boat sticker number, the road, the location, the time. You can email that to a board member. You can email that to the office. You can reach out to a lot of us. You have our phone numbers. I would ask that if you want to take a photo of a golf cart sticker or a boat sticker or something, be sly about it. Do not get into a confrontation with your neighbor over, I won't say something as silly as a violation because they're not, but something over a violation. That is not what we're asking. That's not what we're advising. Posting security and rules violations on social media platforms will not get results, and that is not advised. If you are looking to get results, I need you to fill out the complaint form that you can access through our website or through the office, or that you send an email, so then the rules or the proper committee can follow up with that. Mr. Getty is always a good default, as well as myself. And please understand that when you submit a complaint form, the outcome of that violation is considered confidential, just as well as what you submitted on the complaint form is considered confidential. Any immediate safety issues, please always call 911. Any security issues, we have an email that is specifically for secureraintree@gmail.com.
All right, thank you, Tammy.
You are welcome.
Lakes and beaches.
All righty, to date, we have sold 297 boat stickers. Last year, we were just at about 500. The same thing is required that has been required in the past. Everything must be in the name of the property owner. The current registration, the insurance, the liability coverage must be in the property owner's name. The property owner must be in good standing. Just as with the golf carts, boat and personal watercraft stickers are non-transferable. They are specific to the property owner and to that vessel. The early bird discount ends on April 30th. I was not sure what the boat increases are.
Boats will go up to 100, and personal watercraft will go up to 125.
All right, I'm Irish. Save some money, people, do it now. The use of the boat ramps at Autumn and Spring Lakes. You need to have a current Raintree vehicle sticker, and you need to have a current trailer sticker, or you will be towed. This includes Spring Lake. There is no difference between that boat ramp versus the big boat ramp. Either way, you need to be in compliance with your current boat sticker and with your current vehicle sticker. Outside vehicles are not permitted to bring in boats into Raintree for boating purposes. Again, we have successfully accommodated a lot of part-time residents and property owners so far with the golf cart stickers. The girls have got an amazing process going on. It works beautifully if people initiate the process. Few boat reminders. Anyone born after January 1st, 1984, you must have proof of your Missouri boating safety course. I would advise you to keep a copy of this in your boat dry box with the registration and the insurance, and even email a copy to the POA office. It is a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit, 100 feet from the shoreline and the property line. That is where the wake speed comes in. I will remind pontoon boats, you make a wake. Don't think that you don't. I'm watching you. Just about got ran over the other night standing out at the end of the boathouse. I thought I was down there being snoopy looking at some algae, and somebody came by in a pontoon boat and they didn't see me. About took me down. So 100 feet from the shoreline. As of sunset, no wake. Navigational lights need to be turned on. The buoys will be going up this week, hopefully. Buoys are non-negotiable, people. If you are caught moving a buoy, you will surrender your boat sticker. No noise, quiet hours. When do they begin, Al? Sorry.
I'm not sure.
Mr. Getty?
I think 10.
Quiet hours is 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock,
Yeah,
right?
after 10.
That does include the stereo on your boat. Live wells can be checked by security and board members. Skiing and tubing, you need to move counterclockwise in the middle channel of the lake, again remaining 100 feet from the shoreline and from the dam. A reminder about the beach, no glass bottles, no dogs, no pets, no loud music, no vulgar, obscene music, no vulgar or obscene language, no loitering after dark. Canopy and pop-ups must be at the back wall, at least 20 feet from the water and 5 feet apart. You cannot block the water access with your pop-up. And again, just a reminder, again, we operate on the complaint form basis. So putting something on Nextdoor, on Facebook about someone speeding or someone doing something on the water is not going to get any result. I need you to fill out a complaint form or contact the office or contact me so that we can approach it properly.
Terry,
Thank you very much.
how many boat stickers did you say that were given?
297. And last year we had just around 500.
Right. They'll be coming about Memorial Day.
Yes.
Oxygen for Tammy, please. I will tell you folks, get used to it, she's just warming up.
I am.
So it's gonna be a 2-page report every month, and if you have any questions, you weren't listening. So
You know,
thank
I like big print too.
you. She's very, very detailed.
Speaking of details, would you like me to tab my next issue, or is that?
Bring that up in new business.
Okay, perfect.
Finished business. yeah.
Okay.
Where we at? Maintenance, that would be me or Barb. Are you wanting to talk?
Sure. We received delivery of a new mower this month. Still looking for a mini excavator. He's got feelers out several places. He calls once a week. Evidently, they're very hard to find. Cutting and trimming grass has started. Completed plumbing repairs and exterior painting to the POA building. Front door's been painted. Pavilion parking lot, removed the parking stops, added rock and regraded it, and they're in the process of reinstalling the parking stop curbs. Cleaned up all the beds out here and added mulch. It all looks really nice. Evidently, one of our maintenance guys likes landscaping, so he's all over that, and I love it. Filled potholes, cleaned up washouts from heavy rain, removed trees that were down on the road from high wind, made necessary repairs to vehicles and equipment. They've started transitioning over to spring grass cutting as soon as weather permits. They're preparing the campgrounds, the pavilion, the bathhouse, and the beach area for summer traffic. Porta potties have been delivered and installed. If anyone has any area that needs attention, please fill out a work order and they will assess it for what can be done.
All right, thank you, Barb. I want to just add one thing, two things. One, that every time I see Tom, he thanks me, which he's very appreciative of everything we've got through the maintenance. But I want to say he's thanking everybody in this community because the special assessment is what has made that happen. And I don't want to get on a soapbox about assessment increases, but, and I know these were earmarked, but hopefully we can get the legal issues behind us. And this, just this year with the special assessment, hopefully proves to these property owners out here that just a minor assessment with the cost of living could sustain this community forever of things that we are doing this year and last year with the special assessment. And, you know, I don't ever anticipate that I don't know that there's gonna be an assessment anytime soon. We hope the legal part is over, but this is a prime example what a little bit of money from everybody can help this community do. And Tom thanks me every time I see him, so thank you everybody for the $50 that was for the special assessment.
One other thank you, kind of tied to maintenance, is thank you to all the folks who participated Saturday in the Raintree Cleanup. That is a big difference maker every year to get our streets cleaned up. So obviously there are two parts to that. Please help pick up trash. Please don't throw out trash. So
Yeah,
thanks to those who helped.
and it was crappy weather
I was
too.
gonna say, it almost always is on that day.
Now, I will say, thanks to Betsy for bringing this to my attention about putting the dumpster inside the gates so we didn't have a bunch of garbage up there. And I think that worked out well. I don't think the dumpster was overflowing
No,
by
it
any
wasn't.
means. So we put it down at the back of the boat ramp and, my 3 bags went in there. So I appreciate everybody for coming out as well, and thanks to Betsy for
On
it.
video, too, just saying.
Yeah, that's another good thing. So, thank you for that. Thanks, Deb, for your comments and roads, Barb.
Okay. We received a road repair list from West Paving, which includes several locations that were bumped last year, as well as locations that will be funded by the EPA. We're expecting payment from the EPA any day now. We had to fill out another request form. We've been waiting since last summer for this check, so as soon as it comes in, that work will start, and we anticipate that anytime. And when we do, we're gonna post these locations so that everybody will know what streets are gonna be worked on. And an email, okay. We're in the process of organizing volunteers to serve as inspectors for roads. This is for the next upcoming year, which we're putting together now. They will adopt certain territories and streets, and they will inspect those for suggested repairs and turn that into us, and then we will prioritize those based on severity of damage or whatever. And that's how we're gonna handle it this next year, as far as, instead of just on a kind of a complaint basis where we just react to complaints of roads, we're gonna actually inspect all the roads and prioritize the worst places. Because as usual, a lot of places are worse than others, but people don't complain about it, so you don't know about it, and you tend to fix the squeaky wheel. So if you are interested in that process, contact the office and tell them, and when we get closer to that time, someone will be contacting you. That's it.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Getty, rules.
Well, the office gets a lot of calls, they're sending videos. A lot of it even through the secure Raintree email about speeding, passing, mostly on Plantation. That's the worst one apparently, because that's one we get the most calls about, and most videos. So it's 20 miles an hour even on Plantation, and I know people get behind me and they see me doing 20 miles an hour. You gotta understand, the people that live on Plantation are the ones calling me about the speeders. So I'm not gonna go speeding past their house. I'm sorry if you're behind me, but you're gonna have to just do the speed limit. Okay, also, we've had several tailgating, gate crashing, passing. Also, I just want to mention as far as lakes and beaches, I guess this would be what our security is looking at. Vehicle stickers must be properly affixed on your windshield. I know that there's people, our residents, property owners that have tinted windows and they don't want to stick it on there all the way, but problem is we have a lot of cars coming in here from people that's somebody's friends and they just peel the sticker off and they just slap it on there and it just happens all the time. So it should be properly affixed, or it could be stickered or up to even towed. So we will try to make sure everyone is aware of that, but we're just getting it out there now. This is what security has already told me. Let's see, as she discussed earlier, I'm sorry, Tammy discussed earlier, quiet time in Raintree begins at 10 o'clock and it ends at 6 a.m. So you can start your radio at 6 a.m. However, construction hours are 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. So we'll make sure our construction crews know that if they have any radios, they should turn them on at later. So anyway, in addition, we security logged 6 tailgating, gate, and other property damage incidents, and apparently the card reader out here just got damaged over the weekend.
How did that even
Everybody
happen?
went over.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow. We will look at the video. We know a time. I already got all the info, and I believe they sent it to the secure Raintree email. So it is helping us, and pictures and videos does make things a lot easier. You know, we're getting that. So anyway, complaints of ATVs on the roads. I just got another one, just yesterday. Specifically in the Richmond area, P Ridge, Magnolia, Terra. They're driving these ATVs in the subdivision. And according to the rules, and you cannot even drive an ATV on your own property. So, also we are having vehicles that are cutting through golf cart paths to bypass the gate. So, and we're getting some of those on video, and we also have license numbers. And that is all I have for now.
All right, thank you. Chris, security.
Can you-
Yeah, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Maybe I've got my volume off. Oh, I do.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, go ahead.
Good. I said, most of what I would say has already been spoken, so I'll be short and brief. One thing that I wanted to note, because it's warm weather, there has been, a few more people down at the beach and boat launch. Just want to remind everybody that you must have a proper sticker, parked at the beach, pavilion, or boat launch area. We are getting snapshots, and you will be censured if you do not have a proper sticker or updated sticker on your vehicle. And if you also are potentially have your vehicle towed if it's improperly parked. So, and that's at the owner's expense. And that's all I really have. Everything else, the security's already been covered by Tammy and Dave and Roland, Bart.
Alrighty, thank you. So that ends the committee reports. We will now go into unfinished business. And the first topic is water treatment. Well, I didn't print the agenda, and you didn't object to it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
Well, it does say water treatment. So that was-
Okay, how starch, as you look at this, as you look at the first sheet, if I could have everyone look, when I look at this, I was very interested in looking at it per application. Because I wanted to get the most bang for my dollar every trip somebody came out here. And then it became somewhat of a question of, I won't say integrity, but of their professional integrity, of how many times they felt a treatment for them to stand behind needed to be treated. There's a maximum from the EPA that you can treat lake water twice a month, or every 14 weeks, or every 14 days, or something along those lines. So that's why you'll see the Solitude Company, to stand behind their treatment plan, they want to have treatment twice a month. The other two companies, they weren't worried about that. They weren't worried about the frequency as much as they were more of a triage, wanting to wait until the algae or the weed growth got to a point where they needed to come out and then take care of it, which I think is what we were dealing with the last couple of years. And we've had a lot of feedback that that method of attack is getting away from us as far as treating the water. The very last page are bids from 2017. And you'll see that the prices really have not jumped that dramatically per application from 4 years ago. The first company, they actually had not had a price increase in their chemicals in those 4 years. They were going to charge us the same price for the chemicals that they were going to charge us in 2017. They just now realized that their bid 4 years ago was not something that they would stand behind now, because when they saw the water, they realized more treatment needed to take place for them to stand behind the treatment plan that they were submitting. And so they needed it to be more than, there needed to be more chemicals used. All three companies were very conscious of the health of the habitat and the health of the fish, as well as the first two companies, Colorville and Solitude. They were both very quick to assure me that they were conscious of our need to not have any downtime as far as recreational access use to the water. You couldn't wait 24 hours after a water treatment for people to be able to swim and ski again. The company, Estate Management Services, I couldn't get them to say anything other than they would advise me to keep people out of the water for 24 hours. But the other two they understood that our water is being treated because our water is used. It's not a retention pond, it's not a fountain, it's something that people need access to. I know David's a lot, I'm sorry, DW.
So can I ask a question?
Yes, ask me anything.
When you're comparing these three bids,
Yes,
if you are pricing it per treatment, are they all comparable?
no, not at all. The first one, Curryville, their price per application is almost $25,000.
So how many times a year are they recommending that they treat?
3 times a year.
Only 3 times a year?
Only 3 times a year. They only want to come out during the summer months and attack the submerged weeds and the algae during what they described as our high usage months.
Okay, so that's not really a preventative kind of treatment, it's
A
a,
triage
right.
attack, that's it.
What about, same question for the other two, what about Solitude?
Based
Solitude,
on my reading here,
Mhm.
the other day and tonight, even though it is a little higher than we anticipated, and it is the second highest, this Solitude, I mean, he's got it nailed down to the
Twice a
penny.
month.
They do.
Twice a month and through the winter as
Yes.
needed.
And we had a great conversation with them because the other two companies, I couldn't get them to talk to me about cold water treatment and under ice treatment, which being from northern Ohio, that's important to us because you cannot allow everything to continue. You can't allow the bacteria to continue to get out of control under the ice and in the cold water, because that's when you have all this vegetation that has fallen all summer long, and then it sits down at the bottom and the bacteria gets out of control. That breaks down and becomes almost fertilizer for the algae and the submerged weeds. So the cold water treatment is more of a bacteria attack to break down the muck and the silt to keep it from being such a nice habitat for the algae to spring bloom and for the submerged weeds to be able to keep their root system solid during the cold months.
So they're saying 2 treatments a month
Except
During-
for December,
during February through November, and 1 treatment per month in January, December and January.
December, January.
And they actually did give you references?
They did. Their references were at the back of their bid.
Yep.
They listed, they were,
I mean, if you look at their
and I talked to them.
services, it's pretty involved.
How do they treat water? What's their process? From the bank, from a boat, what?
They do everything from a boat. They will not need to access people's property. They will not need to access the dam. They will do everything on all, no one wants to treat the spring lake. Is that right, spring lake? The fishing lake? That has a high enough fresh water from natural springs that it seems to be somewhat self-maintaining. And the other 3 lakes, they would go to all of them with their own boats. They do a lot of, they had spray herbicides, they had some crystal applications. They would go to, that was the cold water stuff that would sink and then break down over the cold months. They do, my goodness, they were on it as far as algae control, shoreline control. They talked to me about the coves having the more likelihood that there would be trees closer to the water, and so that's why the vegetation ends up falling into it with the leaves, falling in the winter and things. They really, man, they had it going on.
Yeah, I mean,
Talking
just,
to them was amazing.
they're even coming up
Yes.
with things that recommend treatment based on issues they find, whereas it's not just treating the water.
Yes.
And they'll give us a report of what
Right.
they did every month.
Every month they'll give us a report, and they were very interested in talking with someone more knowledgeable than myself. And I told them I'd set up that meeting about our dam. They were very interested in controlling the algae and the weed growth that is in the rock base that has been put down from the dam, and in actually watching. They were worried about erosion. They're very worried about erosion and underwater movement, and that not just, and they talked about animal life and that they watch for things like, beavers and things.
So that's quite a significant problem.
But they were really interested in maintaining that rock base that we just put up for the dam and making sure that the weeds and the algae and any underlying growth isn't deteriorating that expense. Because I explained to them, that right there was that project itself kept us from being a no-wake lake and from closing, the roadway.
They really seem like they're all over what we need to happen, because we've got to maintain these lakes.
Yes.
I mean, this is a hell of a report they put together.
It
It's
is.
all 4 lakes.
3.
Three.
They don't want to do
Three.
Spring Lake. They don't want to
Because it
touch,
doesn't need it.
because that has enough natural
Oh, okay.
spring-fed water in it, that it somewhat self-maintains itself. And I'm telling you, I called Coral Gables, Florida, and they were able to tell me, oh my God, I learned so much, and talking to these people is amazing.
So
Yes.
do we have to sign a contract And
So annual, one new
Annual
renewable
contract.
automatically
Yes.
every year.
what's the monthly payment?
The monthly payment would be $4,820, interest-free
That's for Solitude.
for Solitude.
What was it for?
For Curryville, it would be payment in full on the day of the treatment.
$24,000.
25,000 a pop, three
Yes,
times.
25,000 a pop
75.
in May, June, and July.
What about the other one?
The estate planning, they had monthly payments that they would stretch out, but they will only treat the water April through October, and they only want to do 8 treatments. And they were not so keen on bringing in boats to do their surface treatment. They were more keen on their waders and their backpacks and being able to spray from the shoreline, to which I told them, we need to be very careful because we have, although everyone has access to fish around the lake, when you're spraying herbicides and things, I wanted them to understand they needed to be mindful that they'll be standing in someone's yard while they're doing this. And that concerned me.
Yeah, it says their typical treatment method is surface spraying using a 14-foot skiff because of the slow, quiet, and able to access hard to reach places. Which I will tell you, I learned something this last year about how they treat lakes. Typically, all the algae and weeds and whatnot are the first 20 feet around the shoreline. So when somebody says they're walking around the shoreline and treating it, I thought, well, golly, they're not getting the rest of the lake. But the water depth in the center of the lake doesn't need to be treated, so
Well,
the
you
stuff
don't go
around
there.
the
The
edges
sun doesn't hit it.
makes sense. But, I mean, if we can afford it, I think at a minimum, we give the Solitude. I think they just knocked it out with their report.
And I would like to point out
And the
that
references.
the other
Yeah, maybe we call a couple
I
of them.
did.
We did.
And everybody had wonderful things to say about them, that they said that they will set up an appointment time for you, they'll come, they'll let you be with them while they're treating it, they won't let me be on the boat with them, but I would be able to talk with them in between lakes while they're traveling
And watch
around, and I'd be able to watch them and make notes about what they're doing, and
If we commit to this, how soon can they come out?
they can be out here by the end of the month. She
And
said if I call them tomorrow and we sign it, there will be someone ready.
That's soon enough? That's
Yes.
soon enough.
They were all very much so in agreement that with the temperatures, that beginning in April, we are not behind the 8 ball yet.
Well, I would say this from a budget point of view, this is taking a big bite out of it. But we have 2 big items, roads and now lakes, that are an integral part of this subdivision. If we don't take care of the roads and the lakes, we're in trouble. So it's gonna come from somewhere, but I don't think we can not do it, because if it gets away from us.
Well, and the key thing that you mentioned in an email to, I don't know about all of us, but that we can probably afford to do this to get to September and then re-budget the lakes and
Well,
beaches next year.
July. So we only have to make 2 months' payments, which there's enough money in the Lakes and Beaches budget to do that. And then we'll have a new budget, which we can budget this in next year, starting July 1st.
And I think we just stay cognizant of the renewal and see how they did, and I mean,
Yeah, people will let us know how they did.
Well, yeah, because I get calls and I know, well,
We got a lot
Lakes
of
and
calls
Beaches
last
gets lots of calls about, well, at first I got the oil or something in the water, everything is coming from a construction site, so we go and look, and hey, we had it analyzed, and it was just algae. It's just brown and oily looking.
People will watch, so.
Now, keep in mind that they're very honest and upfront that life happens, there is an increase with their yearly contract. So we need to understand that from our budget standpoint, we need to have some type of increase in our budget as well.
yeah, maybe I point that out to, that they're putting a cost of living increase in there, so.
Yeah,
And
because materials are going to go up for them, and they will pay their employees an increase
Yeah,
next year,
well,
and
You know, every expense on our balance sheet goes up every year.
yes,
Our fixed expenses go up every year, and our income stays here. And so at some point, we gotta pay the piper. We either have to cut out amenities or get an increase in our general assessments to cover operating expenses. Because this is an operating expense, the lake is, the roads are, utilities, insurance, maintenance. I mean, all of that is something we can't not pay.
And the Solitude Company, when I was speaking with their engineers, they were very, very clear about pointing out that Autumn Lake is not so big that it is safe. It is small enough that as sour as those two small lakes get in July, without proper treatment, Autumn Lake could easily become that sour. I mean, it's a likelihood. I mean, it's
So
not,
they are actually gonna treat the two small lakes as well.
yes.
So that'll make a bunch of people over there happy, because I know there's been issues with even getting out to fish.
Wanting to.
Does anybody know how is it catfish or carp or?
Grass carp. No, I have not heard any.
They said, I think,
I
didn't they
guess
say it take a
no
couple
news
of
is
years?
good news.
It would take a couple, yeah, it would
Couple
take a
years.
couple of years before you get to see any type of, change in the thing. And that, they were put in, what, 2 years ago?
They have to get a certain size before they
Just-
start eating grass.
A year and a half ago.
Yeah, so it's really still too early to tell
Right.
if it worked.
And I did speak with Curryville about the grass carp, and they said that their numbers are, they advise clients to assume a yearly replacement of 25% of the grass carp that they initially purchased because of heavy rains and spillways, that grass carp, especially if you are buying a 6 to 8 inch grass carp, they will easily leave the lake with the overflow of water, and then they're not there to grow to do what you wanted them to do in the first place. So that you need to stay on that until you have a base of good eaters.
So do we need to add more of those this year?
That's what he was advising, yes. Because I didn't have any information as far as monitoring the runoff back there at all.
You didn't go over and count bodies?
I did not go over and count bodies. I drove around and was wondering how I could access all of it without walking through people's yards, but
Well, I will say with the report you produced, and we had time to review it in an email and tonight, I will at least make a motion for the approval of the Solitude Lake Management, if we want to get into any detailed discussion.
I will second.
Any discussion? Chris, anything? Adam?
The only question I would have is,
So it sounds like they've got a good program
Right.
laid out.
did they give you a rough estimate on what their percentage increase is roughly every year?
3%.
That's what they said?
a year.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's completely reasonable. I mean, I think that's by far the best one.
and we can cancel within 30 days of our renewal if we choose to.
Otherwise it renews every year.
I have two things after, if we do this, I would say we reach out to maybe the property owners midsummer and see what they're thinking, and, cause they're the ones that see it the most, the people that are on the lake and boaters and the people that live around the lake, so. I know my area was atrocious last year, so I think we just reach out, and anybody that's listening, if, let us know how your weed control and around your coves and your property lines are on all 3 lakes, and
We can.
people on the 53 acre lake, even though we're not using them for that, let us know, and if we need to add it to next year's.
We can put that message out there a few times.
But I liked the fact that they did community water, they did golf course water, they did recreational water, private landowner
Right.
water. So it was, and everybody has been with them for years and would not consider going anywhere else just because of their continued aggressive treatment. They will do all the EPA reporting.
Great.
They answered every, and I had questions, and they answered every question I had for them. I know.
No.
Even the engineers now know me by name when I call, I think. So they're still taking my calls anyway.
I said, oh, it's Tammy.
I
You
think it's
take
a
it.
great
Call
job,
me.
because
Yeah, I
we really
agree.
needed a really serious attack on our water, lake water treatment. So I'm really pleased with what you came.
Thank you.
Anybody got anything else? I will call for a vote, all in in favor of hiring Solitude Lake Management for our lake treatments of the big lake and the 2 small lakes, signify with an aye.
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 All opposed, motion passes. Well done, Tammy.
Thank you, everyone.
Well.
Okay, the next agenda on the unfinished business is food trucks.
I am communicating with the 2 food trucks that were here last year, as well as we have reached out to a handful of new trucks, as well as a snow cone lady. Right now, the larger scale food truck people that have restaurants and things, they're a little apprehensive, I think, because they're not sure when they're going to get COVID clearance and things like that. They seem very apprehensive. One person was kind of nasty and rude and didn't want to come all the way out here. So didn't take that personally. I told him he was missing out on the dream if he didn't come out and see Raintree. But I'm actively pursuing anybody who will take my calls or emails.
I know somebody had mentioned, I don't know if it was Nancy or somebody mentioned about a steak and cheese place down in DeSoto.
Philly cheese place.
Yeah.
I had them for lunch today, it was really good.
They are so good.
So you might want to reach out to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bill's?
No?
No, it's Bill's, yeah. Or Gordon's. That's it, Gordon's, yeah.
Okay. All right.
What is that truck that parks up here in Hillsborough every summer and sells yummy stuff?
It
like
was, the
pulled
sandwich,
pork and
the
all that?
Sandwich Shack, they were trying to open a business. They were trying to open a restaurant in the Morton building,
Building right here.
that they owned that as well, and they were dealing with the health department. And the fees were more than they could financially, I think, swing. They already have a smoking business where they do catering and they do a lot of smoking. They do whole hog meats. You could buy, large pieces of animals, and their food was delicious. But they don't have the camper anymore.
Oh, okay.
So I'm working with them, trying to see if they could bring the camper out of the barn. I mean, they're already smoking the meat and stuff for their catering, seems to me, but it was delicious. It was called the Sandwich Shack.
That's good.
But I've been in touch with them.
All right.
Can I say something which I forgot to do? I'll go. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm out of turn, I know. On the finance report, everybody's got this in your packet in the back. It's a budget versus actual to date. This is current. It'll show you where you are, where your committee is as far as budget this year. It'll give you an idea of what we're looking at maybe for next year. I'll be working on a budget starting in the next 2 or 3 weeks for July 1st fiscal year. So I already know that I'm gonna have to build more into the Lakes and Beaches budget for the lake treatment. So if anybody knows of anything else that is substantially different from what your budget was this year, or any needs that you wanna talk about, you need to let me know before we finalize that budget. But if you go through this, I've highlighted some of these committees, what your budget is and where you stand on it. So if anybody has any questions, just reach out and I'll try to find out the answer. That's it. Just keeping you up to
Well,
date.
as of right now, we're doing pretty damn good on the legal budget. That's the only thing I'm in
Yeah,
charge of.
well, that's helped us out on some other things.
Right.
Because I built a lot into it, because you never know how many lawsuits you're gonna have by the end of the year. So, anyway, yeah, we came out pretty good there, so and it helped.
I had one thing, and it's more about reaching out to the property owners, anybody that's listening or read the minutes, or go back and watch it. There is a general contractor in here that is attempting to buy the property across the street for both an RV parking and it looked like about 30 or 40 storage buildings over there. And he was denied the first go round. He has reached out to Gene Freebus of Freebus Engineering, and the layout that he provided is pretty top notch. Now, I am not saying, recommending as a POA board member of any sort. I'm just saying to people, if you think you would be interested in a storage facility down next to the gas station for boats, RVs, and general storage like 10 by 10s and 8 by 10s, you see storage facilities all over the place. You could send a letter to either him personally or the office, and we will forward that on. I personally believe it's a good thing. They were concerned about the traffic, but I think Gene Freebus laid it out pretty nice where the entrance would be down a little further, so.
POA is a sport that we signed that letter before.
Well, yeah, and
we're probably
also,
gonna do it a new one.
we got confirmation from DOT about the lights that we're gonna put in, and Dave was getting a copy of that to them, so they would know
And that's,
that we are doing something to alleviate the traffic
Yes.
congestion.
and then I'll send that out. That letter will be done tomorrow. It's gonna go out to the board. You guys can look at it.
Yeah, one thing that'll help is alleviate a lot of the extra parking along the sides of the streets. And I mean, literally, if it's parked in front of your house or right across the street, it's hardly any effort to do either one of them. So, I think personally, it's a good thing. I make a lot of money off of people parking in my lot, so, I mean, it's pretty minimal and
Well, and I think
it's not an eyesore by no means, the way he's got it drawn out. And it's kinda, it's kinda down in that valley a little bit, so it'll be, not that visible from the street.
I think it'd be a good thing for lot owners who store their boats somewhere else and drag them out here,
Right.
so they
And
can,
I think the biggest challenge is going to be, the impact that's gonna be on the flow of traffic.
Right. Yeah, I mean, technically, you got about 3 or 4 entrances all within about a couple hundred feet.
Yeah, I think they're, really the only way they're ever going to get any traction on that is they're going to have a pull off. They're gonna have to set back, parking or something for pulling off. To give, because you can't, they didn't leave any space on the gate, at the gate where you would enter in a code or whatever to get into the secure area.
Well, Chris, his original plan actually had the drive kind of sharing with the Raintree Grill there. But apparently planning and zoning didn't like it. They wanted it to have its own, because then it would have had what you're saying, it would have had like a.
Well, I didn't think that was the main entrance. I thought that was, because of the way I read that, maybe I'm not looking at the right.
No, the main entrance you're looking at,
It
that
was,
is,
an RV parking pool. Because that was an RV parking lot over there. Well, it didn't look like it was for regular flow of traffic. It was to be able to pull on RV.
yeah, because their original plan wanted to share that drive to get cars in, but then planning and zoning apparently made them change that. That's why the entrance is different. And it's like you said, I think that's something that, I'm not an engineer, so I really don't know. But he does have a good engineer on it.
so now it's between the engineer and planning and zoning.
And yes, and I think to emphasize on what Dave just said, if we have property owners who are in favor of this, they should try to send a letter, send it to the office, and email. We will make sure we can take it, they can have it taken to the planning and zoning meeting.
When does that mean?
I'm not sure yet, but I will have that letter out to you guys tomorrow before the end of the day. And then you can look at it, and then hopefully by Tuesday or Wednesday or something, we can just go ahead and get it to them and have it taken to planning and zoning. If I'm available, I'll go to the planning and zoning meeting. I don't know if I can talk, but I'll go if it's okay.
You get 3 minutes, I believe. Don't take Tammy with you.
So,
Well, speaking of which, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Bart, you mentioned the streetlight. Any real hardcore information?
It's
on
going
that?
out for bids in August. Okay. Lovely, thank you.
it actually has a number.
Yeah, it's got a number,
It's got a
job number
sign
assigned to
number.
it, so
my.
it's a real deal.
Oh,
I'm gonna Google it and see if I can get a full report on it.
Oh, we have a job.
We've got it in writing from our DOT guy.
That's perfect.
Oh, okay.
That'll go in the letter as well.
Any other unfinished business? Y'all like your new tax notice you got this year?
Yeah.
Wasn't that just wonderful?
What was our properties?
New business, Raintree yard sale,
Okay, I wanted to let everybody know, there's been a lot of curiosity, of course. The yard sale has been scheduled for June 19th. And last year, we moved the normal date back into June because of COVID concerns. We had a huge turnout last year, way bigger than we've ever had before. And Nancy Gow has bravely stepped up and offered to oversee it again this year. But this year, we need volunteers to help. Nancy cannot do all of this herself. And so I'm going to continue to ask for volunteers, including for things, if people will just say now, they will help put out signs. Because that's harder work. It really needs to be men. Men who, robust men even would be good to get those signs in the ground. I did not look at you, I swear.
Yes, the dry ground is hard.
It's hard.
difficult to do.
And with all the work
What kind of
that
signs are they? Like the wire kind or something, or what are they?
I think they're heavy signs. I mean, they go out on the road, along the
Require a
road,
mallet.
and,
They require a mallet.
and it would be
So
nice if
Mr.
somebody.
Robust,
Well, I don't have a mallet, but I can think I can locate it.
I think,
Seriously,
I
that
think
one
the
right there.
sponsors have got extra tools I can bring along.
Seriously, somebody who's not on board. I mean, you guys are doing a lot. And I know we have a lot of folks out in the community who like to step up and help. So this would be a great time to contact Nancy or the office or me and just make yourselves available that like a week before June 19th so that we can get all those signs posted. And so we'll be working toward that, and everybody else can start working toward that yard sale. Nancy's got some good ideas for trying to control what happened last year with a line of cars lined up at our gate before it opened. Well, yeah, that was great for them, and nobody from Raintree could get in. So,
they probably had a Sam's card if they got to come in early.
well, anyway, Nancy's working on that idea too. So June 19th on your calendar. And then I put on here, Dave, kind of your territory, but ballot suggestions. We typically review the suggestions for ballots in June of each year, and we've got to accept or vote against those ballot suggestions in our June meeting, because there's a process they have to go through. They've got to go to our attorney for review. He comes back and often suggests tweaks to those. And I'm sure that many of you remember clearly that last year we saw them for the first time in the June meeting, and we had all kinds of questions. And it, really slowed us down, and it could have kept some of those ideas from being approved to go on the ballot because we didn't really understand them from the suggestion itself. So I'm suggesting that we ask that those be submitted to the office by May 28th, so we can look at them ahead of time and come back with questions.
I would agree with that.
Sounds good.
Just follow that up, there will be 4 board openings this September, myself, Dave, and Deb, and the one resignation will also get appointed a 2-year term. So mine and Dave's and Deb's will be a 3-year appointment or election, and the 4th one will be a 2-year appointment. And that all happens in September, so I don't think I have anything else. Anybody got anything? Chris?
Yeah,
Al?
we talked about the last 3 or 4 years, 4 or 5 years, on July 4th. We've had autumn wake as no wake on July 4th. Wondering if we wanted to continue that. In the past, I've heard a lot of positive feedback, that people like it. I've heard 1 or 2 negatives, but by far the positive comments outweigh the negatives, and I just wonder if we want to pursue that again this year. If we do, we might want to start announcing it and advertising it.
Is that a motion you're making?
I'll make the motion, yes.
I will second that. Any discussion? July 4th will be a no wake, so that would be, I believe, a Sunday.
Sunday, yes.
Sunday, July 4th on the lake will be no wake.
All day.
All day.
Yes.
You got any questions, Chris? discussion? All in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Thank you, Al. Anything else? I will make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting adjourned. Open forum, Derek.
Nothing.
Wow. Either we're doing a hell of a job, or nobody cares about us.
People
they're-
just nodded off during my,
Yeah.
see, my committee reports serve their purpose, people just.
Can you tell them?
Everybody wants to sleep.
I did get a question. Well, not a
50
question,
people
I got a
on?
comment.
50, wow.
Wow.
50?
How much did we spend last year?
Nancy did say that she will not be wearing pajamas when she comes to the board meeting.
Oh,
next week.
wow.
Well, she might wanna wear pajamas
I
if
don't know.
Tammy's here that month.
I don't know, Karen. I understand.
Oh, I will tell you.
Thank you.
I do have a question though.
Yeah, he's got one.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I got a question.
Yes.
Sand this year at the beach, are we adding sand?
We are,
Okay.
it's coming, I've been told we typically do it
A week before.
for Memorial Day, so that it is nice and pretty and pristine for the, but basically it's my birthday. My birthday is Memorial Day as well as my wedding anniversary, so we're going to have a nice, pretty,
Just for that.
let that get out there. Now, there was a question as to previously, the company that was handling our water health, our water treatment, our lake treatments, their contract stated that they would inspect the water April through August. They would treat per their determination. There was no treatment plan or schedule submitted. Autumn Lake was treated for a total of $4,400 for the year. Spring Lake was treated for $1,500 for the year. Winter and Summer Lakes, $800 for the year.
And we had
And
a
that
lot
was
of
a
options.
3-year
It
contract.
was a 3-year contract,
Which is over, right?
which is complete, yes.
So that was $6,300.
So I'd like to throw a question out to everybody as well, more for the property owners that attend the beach. Is anybody, or are the people that go down there in love with the trees that are in the sand?
The what?
There's 2 huge trees, evergreens, aren't they?
I think so.
Are you guys in love with those,
Yeah,
or
they're eastern red cedars.
what are they?
Eastern red cedar.
Are they in the sand?
They are in the sand on the lake side of the wall, so I was just curious. The reason I bring this up is because I think personally they're unwelcomed. 2, that'll kind of give us the direction that when we go to start fixing the beach maybe next year with the different budget, that we, I want to try to get some of that rock up and extend the beach a little bit, not just out but around. And those trees just seem like they're in a bad spot.
Are they providing shade for the picnic tables?
No. They're providing shade for somebody that wants to sit on rocks, because that's all that's over there, really. But I mean, that beach wraps all the way around, and I think if we can get those trees out of there and get some of that rock, that we could extend the beach and make it a little more functional.
It's pretty steep over there.
It is, but that's why I would like to kind of, and I think Michael actually reached out to somebody with you guys.
Yeah, Michael, Jay, and I met with Jay Boise over there, and Jay had some excellent ideas about how to chip out some of the beach, maybe make it a stair step down there, as well as some other things about put like a French drain in behind the seawall.
Right, that's the biggest thing.
And he even talked about cantilevering some canopies off the seawall to add additional shade. I mean, it was just fabulous ideas.
Did he give you any prices?
No, he was to come up with, submit prices and plans in stages, because we made it very clear this had to be executed over a number of years. I haven't heard any follow-up on that. I don't think Jay has.
Maybe one of you guys reach out to him, not for this year, but maybe for the next budget year, that we could try to get something done.
If we can get an assessment increase. Because we're paying a big chunk
I
now
just
for
want to
lake
ask a question
treatment.
on those cedar trees. I can't think of where they're at exactly. Do they provide shade on the beach by any chance?
Well, they might, but it's not in an area where there's a lot of, like, it's mostly erosion of the sand.
But you know, if
On
you
the
take
other
those
end.
trees out, you're gonna have more erosion because the roots are gonna be gone.
Chris, you got a question?
I did, how close are those trees to the property line? Are they providing a buffer between the next lot that's closest?
No, they're like,
And privacy or noise control?
I would say there's 2 trees that I remember. There's one that's about, I wanna say, 2/3 of the way from the parking lot, and then the other one's about another, 50 feet, 100 feet? It's really in an area that never gets used, and I think mainly because it's rocky over there, and I think, them trees, and I'm not saying we gotta take them down this year, but when we start doing all this work, that would be probably something that is included in getting those trees out of there.
Right.
Talking with Tom, whenever they put the sand in there, they spread
Going to
the,
take a couple of trees down, we might also look at putting in some additional evergreen close to the property line, just for that purpose.
Yeah, that
Or,
area over there on the far right is, if you're looking at the hillside, is kind of a spillway for that hill. Actually, the wall was initially intended pretty well because it kind of goes both directions. I think more water runs towards that little spillway and comes off of the upper parking lot a little bit. But, yeah, I agree with you, Chris. We could maybe do something over there just to get a little separation. Currently, I don't know if that's a buildable lot right there, if we own that or not, but it's pretty wooded once you get over to that area.
I know as Tom says, when they spread the sand now, they use that second, more distant cedar tree, is where they stop spreading the sand.
Yeah, I know, I walked, probably a couple months ago, I walked over there, or actually when I went over there with Michael to see what Jay was talking about, some of the things he was wanting to do, and just kind of things coming to mind that those trees are kind of, really a weird spot.
No, we're probably in the weird spot, the trees were there first.
Yeah.
Personally,
It
I
would
like
seem
cedar
like
trees.
a probability that removal of those trees is even in the plan for this person that you're talking to about the beach improvement.
I can't recall whether we discussed the removal of the trees or not.
They're, like I said, they're in a real rocky area. Once you start removing that rock, I think the next thing would be the trees to go.
Well, if you're gonna expand the beach over there, you would
Well,
protect the trees.
I think you need to be careful if you start chipping the rock away. You can't come too close to the retaining wall as it is. I mean, I'm certainly not an engineer, but if you start removing rock close to that retaining wall, I think you would certainly weaken it to some degree.
Yeah, I would think it would just be off of that wall to try to lengthen the beach over on that side.
You know, like I said, Jay had some comments where you would kind of stair step that stone down, and that where you'd have, maybe 2 or 3 levels before you got to the water. Because if you just make it one slope like that, you lay down, you're gonna roll into the lake.
I mean, my question, I guess, Derek, would be, is it being used in that area? And if it is, or if it isn't, is it not being used because it is so rocky over there?
It's not because it's rocky.
Do you think it would be if it was like the other side?
I think it'd let people stretch on that beach. and-
Okay. That's really all I was trying to get out of it, is make more room.
When I had talked
we
about
don't
that
have
earlier.
anything, I'm gonna head up there so that Derek can take the picture.
Okay, yeah, come on, Chris.
They could take away some of that rock and actually put it into the lake and extend the beach that way. Hit it with some, pea gravel and then sand on top of that and just, I mean,
Yeah, I think something needs to be done.
I think-
Either we need to
just
fix
push
it
it out
or
a
we need to
little
close it
I
off.
think
So,
CFE
fill up the
had it all
lake,
laid
just
out
stretch
really
it out,
nice.
you mean?
yeah, so,
That's
you know,
what
people
he
take
said.
Steve, would take some of that rock and actually just put it into the lake and then put pea gravel and sand on top of that.
Big rocks that wouldn't just wash out.
Extend the shore
Stuff you
out.
wouldn't be able to walk on, it'd be out in a deeper area.
Yeah.
I
And then,
think extending the beach is a great idea. We've got all these.
Seems like that would be a better idea
Yeah,
than
that
trying
would-
to bust
that
that
would-
rock out there.
yeah, you have to bust the rock out, put it out there and then just do I mean, that's what we did with like manholes and stuff. If you have to chip that rock, we put it somewhere else. That way we're not pulling it off the site and it costs a lot of money. So.
Are we done? No?
Well, it depends on if you've all given me your bullet points for your article in the newsletter. Okay, how about tomorrow?
Okay,
Tomorrow for sure.
I can do tomorrow.
You got
Mark
any
gave
questions there? Nope.
Barb gave me a nice article, but I'm gonna use it for the e-newsletter, so she has to go back and see it.